Hello, this is Paul CHEK. Today I'd like to share some thoughts and feelings about family reunion. I think most of us, or a lot of us, come from challenging family relationships. Some of us had a smoother, more harmonious upbringing than others. I came from a challenging family environment. By the time my mother was 18, she had 3 kids and a husband that was physically abusive and essentially left her and didn't take care of her and didn't support her financially. And so she also got disowned by her father for getting pregnant with me and had no family support. And then she attracted another man into her life who unfortunately was physically and emotionally and mentally abusive and gave us all some pretty seriously challenging times in our growth and development. And through the environment of our childhood, I would say, instead of having a kind of a loving, bonded family relationship, it was more akin to something of surviving together and oftentimes being in conflict with each other because we had so much pain and fear in us. We didn't know how to handle it. And so it's been a long journey for a lot of us. My sister Kim is 2 years younger than me, so she's 53 now. My brother Scott committed suicide when I was 34, which was a very painful experience for all of us. My actual father died when I was 8. He drowned. Then my sister Kim's son drowned in their swimming pool. And so there's more, but there's been a lot of death and a lot of pain in the family and things that have left us wounded and separated all the way from our childhood. And there's been intermittent connection, but we lost that opportunity to share with each other and feel each other and have empathy and compassion and to give support for each other. And I reached a point where I started to feel a deep craving to bring my family together, to just celebrate life and love and each other, and to let go of all the past pains and just reconnect each other in the spirit of love, and to celebrate that we've made it this far in life together, especially coming from a very rough beginning. And so we made the connection to everyone, and it turned out, by the grace of love, that a whole bunch of us, 10 of us, were able to come together, and actually more came even after that. The only person that couldn't really make it, of course, was my brother, because he passed away, and then my mother's husband, Alex, needed to rest, so he stayed home with his son. But we had the most amazing time. We bowled together, we laughed together, we ate together, we, as I'll show you, chanted together. Some of us took saunas together, we painted together, and this is the painting that we created to signify and, shall we say, embody each other in artistic form. And it was tremendously healing, and it was quite emotional to be able to see everyone at a much later time. Many of us, I hadn't seen my sister, for example, in 15 years. I haven't seen my brother in many years. So it was a very powerful thing, and I just felt it was important for me to share this with you, because I work with people day in and day out whose diseases, whose health problems, whose mental, emotional problems all track back to painful family experiences or broken families. And it's easy for us to get caught in the pain and to get caught in the past and to forget that growth is a natural process for all human souls, and that somebody you may have had a hard time with, for example, my father was a hard man to get along with, but I reached a point in my life where I could really love and appreciate the gifts that he did give me, and choose to focus on those things. And I think when we realize that pain is a great tool for increasing conscious awareness and giving us the opportunity to heal and to learn to love, and love becomes richer and more powerful when we actually consciously make the choice to heal and to grow, instead of expecting somebody else to come do the fixing or admit that they were wrong, or you're not going to love them again, and things like that. So it was so healing, and I feel so light in body and so grateful for the experience, that I really felt that, one, I waited too long, B, I'm committed to, as the whole family is, to trying to get together as close as possible to once a year moving forward, because we had such a great time. We spent a week together. And 3, I thought I would share the process, one of the processes that I used, which was similar to what I showed in a previous blog, and give you some of the tips that I used to get together 10 people that probably were unlikely to get together unless we all approach this in a state of harmony and willingness to get past old differences. So one of the events that I did, I brought them up here to Heaven House to show them my office and let them enjoy the gym and have fun up here and listen to great music. And I wanted to introduce them to painting, because I don't think any of them have really ever painted. So what we did, as you can see on the board, I asked them each to please write down the one word that best captures what being with your family this week means to you. So my word was connection, my sister Barbara's word was love, my sister Kim's word was home, her husband Dan's word was awareness. We've got Randy, my sister Barbara's husband's word was knowledge. My brother Dusty's word was sharing. My son Paul CHEK Jr.'s word was proximity. And Angie's word was unity. My mother's word was surprise. And Penny's word was gratitude. And Mana's word is here written in special code for 1-year-olds. And so you can interpret that yourself, but it's very important. So that's Mana's part. So then what we did is I organized the words in a sequence that is easier to say so that it could be chanted. And so we chanted for quite a while together. We just said the words and we all came into harmony, and there was a great sense of union and connection, and you know, people really did feel that experience. So we chanted surprise, love, connection, awareness, home, proximity, unity, gratitude, knowledge, sharing, surprise, love, home, connection, awareness, proximity, unity, gratitude, knowledge, sharing. And we did that probably for 8 or 10 minutes, I would imagine. And then when we all felt harmonized, we then took our word and the words of others. And so my word was connection, for example, so I began by drawing the white circle, and then I put the yellow element of the sun, and later added the tree, because those things all symbolize connection to me. When you're standing in the sun, it looks like the sun's over there, but you got to remember the sun's photons are reaching out and touching you, and they're an extension of its being. So the sun really isn't over there. You're inside the sphere of the sun's warmth and the sun's love. So the circle symbolizes connection, the sun symbolizes connection, and the tree is a symbol of connection and growth. So we all just had fun. It was so funny. Sometimes there was like several of us trying to paint at once, working around each other. It was just a magical experience. So knowing that many of you have challenging family situations, and maybe like me haven't seen people that you love, even if your ego doesn't say that you love them. It's impossible not to love someone when you get to the core of your being, because what Great Spirit is love itself, and there is no separation there. So the ego creates the illusion, which is really just for the fun of realizing the truth of yourself in the end. So I'm saying, why wait till you're dead to figure it out? Why not live and let the little wounds inside of you and the beliefs that may not be true die, so you can have that experience now. So to share a methodology that can help you in the process that I went through in myself, to gather your family together, to have a beautiful meeting and share love and excitement and connection and stories and pains and emotions and tears and healing and food and whatever is natural for you. I've got a 10-step model here, and in HLC2 training I use a 10-step model to show you how you can solve almost any body, mind, or spirit problem a person has with those 10 steps. So the first thing we need to do is have awareness that a family reunion is probably ideal to help you and to help the rest of the family members come together to heal, grow, and share together. Then you have to have the intention to make the meeting happen. Then you need to go into exploring the possibility, which requires planning. So someone has to take the active role and say, okay, I'm going to contact everybody. Here's the dates that I can do it, find out what dates they could do it, and work together until you find harmony and schedule, which amazingly we were able to do with ultimately what turned out to be 13 people, 10 key family members, and then 3 others that are either, one was my ex-wife, and the other one was Rhonda, and another one was a dear friend of the family, that all converged at the same time just by happen chance. So you have to go into possibility and planning. Then we have to, once we have the possibilities and we can plan, so I was the one that organized the event, myself, Angie, and Penny. So we first had to be clear what we could do since we were hosting it. Then we had to make connections and invite everybody. Then we knew some people wouldn't have the finances to afford that much time off work, air travel, food, lodging. So we made a commitment to support anybody financially that couldn't make it, so that money would not be an obstacle. So if you want to get your family together, some of you are probably going to find that your finances, someone in the family may not have the finances, but part of this process is that we each pitch in to support as necessary to make the event happen. And that's probably one of your first legitimate acts of love, is to give someone support who maybe for reasons of anger, pain, or resent you wouldn't otherwise. But this is a first step to healing, is really opening that door. So we made that all happen by giving them support. We got them all beautiful places to stay. We had great food with everyone and made sure everyone had food. And whoever needed help with transportation, we organized that. And I'll tell you what, if I had to spend 10 times as much next year to do it again, no problem. So then once they arrived, we have reunion. And then we had communion and celebration. We got to commune with each other, to talk, to hug, to kiss, to share food, to giggle, to laugh, to exercise together, to listen to music together. We bowled, we went bowling together, and Barbara's husband, Randy, kicked all our asses, but it was fun because he's a good bowler. And we celebrated. We just had a great time. Every meal was a celebration, and especially because Angie and Penny are both great cooks, so everybody was like blown away with the food, including myself. I'm spoiled, though I get it all the time, and I got Vidya cooking for me too, so I'm triple spoiled. And then we committed to returning. We all realized we can't wait so long to be with each other. Once we came together, we really realized how much we did miss each other, and how much more fun it is to be together, to share and to heal and to grow, than it is to be apart and try to make it through the world with that feeling of separation and aloneness with people that you know you love because they're part of you. Next, we all left with a new awareness, and that's the great opportunity for higher conscious. We are brought into a new awareness that we can get past our own problems and our old problems, and we can just focus on the love and focus on the joy of each other. And we're now committed to more open communications and really just loving each other in the interim, so that when we get together again, we can really feel good about it. So that new awareness is the practice of staying in connection, so that we don't fall back into the old habit of just kind of existing without connection, which is loneliness. That's what leads to a lot of depression in people and anxiety. And then 10 is a new octave. Our next meeting, by practicing this and staying in tune with our expression and our love of each other, when we get together next time, we'll be at a new octave. So they'll already know that I'm going to have a paintbrush ready for them, and we'll already know that we're going to go to the bowling alley, and I'm going to do my best to beat Randy, and hopefully I can beat Angie too, because she's another toughie on the bowling alley. And we will eat together, but we will come together already knowing, without the fears and insecurities, that this is going to be a great time, and everybody was excited to do it again. And so my closing message for you is that sometimes our fear stops us from loving, and sometimes our overemphasis on the memory of pain stops us from connecting to the heart in each individual. And when we realize that to the degree we have pain with someone, we have that much potential for growth and power and the joy of reconnection. It's kind of like if you have a spat with your lover and it causes separation, you feel the pain, but when you come together and go back into intimacy or a sexual union, it's usually a very powerful, strong experience, because there's that real deep need for reconnection. So when we come back together, you know, it really serves, and we can rise each connection into a higher state of awareness and a higher state of connection in communion, and maybe realize the magnificent beauty of why we as souls chose to make this journey with each other. Now, some resources that might help you. My 1, 2, 3, 4 for overcoming addiction, obesity, and disease has 9 hours of audio with Vidya and I discussing a love model that I developed, which I was inspired to develop through studying Osho's teachings. And that gives you a lot of information about how love really works in our lives, and how with that awareness we can actually be more conscious of growing ourselves, healing ourselves, and connecting in a deeper way so that we feel more whole. And it gives you a workbook that takes you through a process of healing that can be used by anyone suffering from addiction, obesity, disease, or any form of separation or love confusion. PPS Lesson 1 is how to find and live your legacy or your overarching dream. And in that lesson, I guide you through a systematic approach to how to identify all the painful, challenging times you've had in your life, but also all the joyful times, the times of great success or reward. And then I show you how to put this all into context so that you can bring your consciousness above the pain and separation and see how beautiful Spirit is working them all together to create the polarities that drive the engine of consciousness, the engine of love, and the engine of growth, if you can use the term engine that way. And many, many people have told me that that lesson changed their life dramatically. And it also gives you the 10 key components that you need to be aware of to identify and attract your dream into your life, whether it be a dream for the moment, such as a goal or objective you want to achieve, a dream for a stage of your life, or a dream for your whole life, which would be a legacy. For me, my legacy is the CHEK Institute. So I hope you enjoyed sharing with me and seeing how we got together and worked to love each other and move past pain and into a state of harmony and joy. And I've shared a process and what it looks like. Hopefully you can enjoy doing that too. And I wish all of you great happiness and joy in your own family reunion and in your reunion with yourself. Thanks for joining me today. I am Paul CHEK.